Habits are hard to break. Some habits you want to break, some you don't. What about gaming habits that you probably can't break? Well, let's go over some. And the first one is leaning in when it's intense. I'm leaning in right now on this microphone because I feel intense. Gaming is a pretty big hobby, and as such, there are certain habits that we end up picking up without realizing it along the way, and this one is the classic gamer lean. How many of you lean into the monitor when things are really getting intense? Or you've been sitting on the couch and you sit forward with your elbows on your knees to focus just a little harder. It's going to make you better, right? After all, every 5 degrees you lean forward grants you plus 75% concentration. Did you know that? Buying games we'll never play. When a bunch of games go on sale, it's hard to resist stocking up, especially during Steam sales. But how many games do you have in your library that you've actually never played that you always meant to finish but never did because other games took your attention and the cycle continued? It's always good to support developers, but sometimes the hype of a good sale can get the best of you. And you stock up on games you'll never actually put any substantial time into. But hey, at least you have them in case you get that random urge to give them a shot, right? Blaming lag. We've all done it. Due to the increased reliance on online functionality and always online policies, lag is becoming more and more of a factor in gameplay. Every single player they do. However, this leads us to often developing the habit of blaming our losses on lag instead of our own mistakes. And look, sometimes lag does get you killed. It absolutely happens, but the frequency in which some people blame lag, it's kind of embarrassing. If you messed up, own it. You won't get better unless you recognize you made a mistake. At number 7, hitting characters when they're talking to you. A lot of games will have NPCs that talk to you and give you, they help you out. They help you with your quest. They help you win the game. But how many times have you found yourself swinging punches or kicks at an NPC that's trying to tell you something important just for the heck of it? Maybe you're bored. I don't know. You want to get on with the game and they're blabbing on to you about random stuff. And just give me the quest and let me move on. Or I'm going to repeatedly punch you in the face, even though it does no damage. Talking to yourself. Just about everybody talks to themselves at one time or another in their life, but if there's one situation where everybody does it, it's when they're playing video games. Puzzle games and RPGs are often the main culprits of this as they require a lot of deep thinking and decision making. However, platformers also never fail to get the player to start talking to themselves when you start dying over and over. In multiplayer shooters, well, they gave birth to the gamer trash talk due to how quickly they can get under your skin. So whatever your genre of choice is, just about every gamer talks to themselves while playing. It's not weird. Reloading after every kill. This is a habit that a lot of shooter players have, and I'm not really sure where it comes from. I do it too. For some reason, there's this really common habit in which we always reload our gun right after we get a kill, regardless of how much ammo we have left in the mag or how many enemies are still walking around right next to us. There's just something about killing an enemy and then fully preparing yourself for the next fight, I guess. But how many times have you gotten yourself killed because you were doing an unnecessary reload when you should have been shooting? Mine is in the thousands. Reloading after one shot. Speaking of unnecessary reloads, how about the habit that even more shooter players have where you always have to have a full mag in your gun at all times? It doesn't matter if you have 20 of 25 shots or 29 of 30. You won't be satisfied until you have a perfect 100% full magazine. Now, due to the fact that unused bullets will just magically go into your next mag in video games, there are no consequences for compulsive reloads. But could you imagine how many people would be shaken up if a game came out where bullets actually behaved realistically? Where if you pressed reload, where you still had 29 bullets in the mag, you lost 29 bullets. How much would that screw with people's heads? Jumping or rolling from place to place. Open world games have become more commonplace over the years, but they often come with a lot of travel time. Well, one way to keep yourself busy while you go from place to place is just roll around everywhere and jump on random things along the way. In some games, jumping or rolling is actually faster than running. But even in the games where it's not, many gamers will find themselves doing it just because they're bored and they have downtime and they need something to keep them hyped along their journey. Hoarding RPG items. You never know when you're going to need that one random feather or that little piece of orb that you found while roaming an open world, right? Due to most open world RPGs having some kind of crafting system, this leads to players often hoarding anything and everything they can get their little hands on when you may never need it. You hardly actually never end up needing it, resulting in you finishing the story with this massive inventory of random knickknacks that you forgot that you even picked up. And at number 1 today, button mashing. Well, button mashing when you don't have to. QuickTime events are a pretty controversial addition to recent video games, as some people like the fact that they keep you engaged in cutscenes, but other people hate it, how often they're unnecessary and they replace what could have been an actual gameplay sequence. How many times, though, have you found yourself in a QuickTime event where it just tells you to press a button, but you mash and mash and mash and mash it? Or maybe it takes the prompt off the screen, but you just keep mashing away at the button just in case it's trying to trick you. then how many times has this excessive mashing actually messed you up because you screwed up the next button prompt since you were already mashing a button? Yeah, it sucks. And there you have it, my friends. Those are 10 gaming habits that you're probably not going to be able to break. My name is Chaos. This has been another episode of Gaming Facts by Gameology, and I'll see you soon.